What do you do when you have to deal with some tough diplomats? Well, frankly, you cannot do much about it. And the US learned it the hard way when it interacted with India on the 2+2 platform. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI media group. I'm your host Apurva, and in this video, I will tell you how USA tried to arm twist India, but it was India that gave USA the grand slam. So let's begin. Ever since the Ukraine war started, the US has been trying to scare off India. It has been making all kinds of threats to get New Delhi to toe the US NATO line. However, India remains unmoved and maintains that it will follow its own interest in this regard. So when India and the US held a 2+2 dialogue involving the foreign and defense ministers from both sides, the US fielded all its heavyweights to scare off India. However, India made one thing clear: it won't bow down to the US or any other superpower of the past. How? Well, let's find out. The US fielded all its heavyweights when India's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister Jaishankar met their US counterparts in order to intimidate India. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin were present at the 2+2 meeting. However, Biden too got involved in the matter. He held a virtual meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi ahead of the 2+2 meeting. He also met India's two ministers in the US. This was obviously a show of strength from the US side. There was an unprecedented volley of US threats on display that started with the Modi-Biden virtual summit itself. President Biden made the obvious threat against buying Russian oil. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the president conveyed that we are here to help them diversifying their means of importing oil. The imports from the United States are already significant, much bigger than the imports that they get from Russia. Psaki added, the president conveyed very clearly that it is not in the interest to increase that. Blinken echoed Biden's remarks. He said, when it comes to oil purchases, sanctions, etc., I just note that there are carve-outs of energy purchases. Of course, we are encouraging countries not to purchase additional energy supplies from Russia. Every country is differently situated, has different needs, requirements, and we are looking to allies and partners not to increase their purchase of Russian energy. And then there were other kinds of threats too. Blinken said, we are monitoring some recent concerning developments in India, including a rise in human rights abuses by some government police and prison officials. And yes, there was CAATSA too. Blinken said that the US had not yet made a decision on potential CAATSA sanctions or waivers over the purchase of the Russian S-400 air defense system by India. He was suggesting that we haven't sanctioned you, but we can if things don't go as per our narrative. However, India remained unmoved. Firstly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi went about his business during the virtual summit without offering any explanation over the Russia-Ukraine crisis. And then, India's ministers too made it clear that New Delhi won't alter its stand to suit the US. Jaishankar said, if you are looking at the energy purchases from Russia, I would suggest that your attention should be focused on Europe, which probably we do buy some energy, which is necessary for our energy security. But I suspect, looking at the figures, probably our total purchase for the month would be less than what Europe does in an afternoon. And the Biden administration officials actually got scared off. Senior US administration official reportedly said, we are not going to tell India what to do. Jen Psaki too said, I will let PM Modi and Indians speak on that. It's only 1 to 2% at this point in time. They import 10% from the United States. It is no violation of any sanctions or anything along those lines. So the US was trying to pressurize India with all its might, but it is India that scared the US heavyweights off.